Mega Mike, the movie man here, back with another mega pre-game show for you all today. Today we are getting hyped and pre-gaming for the new horror movie Scream. So we're really excited about this one, and I am joined by my co-host. So I'll let my co-host introduce himself.
Hey everybody, my name's Alejandro. I'm very excited to be a part of this, and hopefully there's no internet connection so you guys can hear me clearly. Ready for this pregame.
All right, let's get started. So we got our drinks. I'm ready to go. We'll get into 10 question topics here. We're going to save our most important question for the end, though. That's going to be what we think it's going to do at the box office and the critic response. But let's start with the first question here. What do we think of the original Scream? So I'm a big horror fan, and to me, the original Scream is very near to my heart. I really enjoy that one, especially going back and watching it again recently on 4K. Wow, that movie is an absolute masterpiece, just a complete deconstruction of the horror genre, all the meta references and all the little horror Easter eggs in it. It's just fantastic. And I just really enjoy that movie. And of course, the mystery twist at the end is just totally awesome. So, works as a celebration of horror movies and works as a really good slasher mystery as well. What do you think, Alejandro? How do you feel about that original Scream?
Oh man, I loved it. I'm a big fan of Wes Craven. I loved not Friday 13th. I'm sorry about that. I loved Nightmare on Elm Street. And just for Wes Craven to step it up with this movie, it was a lot of how do you say, new, just because like you mentioned the that twist ending. I didn't see it coming the first time I seen it, and I've already had multiple watch viewings of it, and it still doesn't get old for me. I love it. Matthew Lillard is I think the best part of the movie. Honestly, I just love his character. I love Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard is awesome. I wish I've seen him in even more stuff. He was in that 13 Ghosts movie.
Yeah.
And we'll maybe talk a little bit about him some more and some other questions too. So let's get into our next question, our next topic here. So there's been a lot of Scream sequels. What do we think of those Scream sequels? So we're now on Scream 5, guys. Scream 5. Wow. I thought the first couple sequels were pretty decent. Nothing as great as the original, but I thought 2 and 3 were all right. They worked for me. I tried watching the fourth one again last night. I remember when I first saw the fourth one, it came out, I was pretty disappointed with it. Tried watching it again last night to prepare for this video, and I fell asleep. I'm going to be honest there. I fell asleep on it. I don't know, it wasn't working for me, and I didn't think it had a good surprise twist at all. The twist ending, I knew exactly who the slasher was from the beginning. I really was not shocked at all. So to me, it was a big departure from the original Scream. At least that's what I thought of it. Alejandro, what do you think of all the sequels?
So it's been a while, but I thought the second Scream was pretty good. The third one, I thought they were kind of like jumping the shark, just because if I recall correctly, sorry for the spoiler, it had something to do with Sydney's like estranged brother, or they were like blood relatives. I remember that. But the fourth one was forgettable for me. I don't even remember anything on that one, just because I also think that was the weakest one. So I'm kind of hoping for this new one that's coming out. Hopefully it at least tops the third and the fourth.
Yeah, I'm hoping the exact same thing. At least better than the fourth. I'll be happy with that. So do you think they should have made another Scream sequel? I mean, they just keep going with these movies. I mean, especially with the disappointment of the fourth. Should we have a new sequel here? Now, to me, I like sequel movies. So if it's a good sequel, I think that's awesome. It adds to the franchise overall. If it ends up being terrible, well, it's okay. We still have the original. It won't take away anything from the original to me. So even if I get disappointed or it's a bad sequel, well, they gave it a try, but we still got the original. How do you feel about it, Alejandro? Do you think they should have made another one?
Just from a from a marketing standpoint, I get it. Like it's obviously gonna put butts in the seats. I guess they're just trying to get a quick dime out of it. But I'm setting the bar pretty high just because the original, the very first one is just the best. Yeah, I don't think they can top that. I'm already thinking what direction they're gonna be going or who's gonna be the big killer at the end. I'm just hoping it's not like trying to compare it to another sequel that wasn't really good. Like the Friday the 13th reboot, it was okay, but it wasn't like, oh wow, they how do you say, they made
They knocked it out of the ballpark.
yeah, they knocked it out of the park, or like they brought something new. No, they just rehashed it. And I don't know, I'm just hoping this is not like another issue like same with the reboot of the Nightmare on Elm Street. That was terrible. Not terrible, but like compared to the original, it can't
It
compete.
just wasn't up to standards,
No.
right? So that's perfect. That leads directly into our next question is, what is our excitement for this movie? So, right, I don't know if it can meet the original, right? That's a high bar, like you were mentioning. And I'm okay. I'm okay if it doesn't meet the original, right? It's tough to do that. I definitely want it better than the fourth one. So maybe if it could be around that that second range, a good sequel, a
Yeah.
decent little film. And I actually, I was okay with that Friday the 13th reboot and Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, even though they weren't amazing, right? They weren't up to the standards. I thought they were all right. They could have been worse.
Right.
so so if we can get even better than that, I think that's where my excitement is. And what I've been hearing so far, I've been hearing good critic responses. I've been hearing people enjoying this one online. So now my excitement level has gone up a little bit. How do you feel, Alejandro? Where are you at with your excitement?
Well, like I said before, I'm like setting like a really high bar, but I remember reading something online. There was rumors that Matthew Lillard might be in it, but like that had me really hyped. That had me like excited. I was like, ooh, I wonder what's gonna happen. How they're gonna put his character back. I can't remember the character's name from the original Scream, but bringing him back would be pretty crazy just because everybody thought he died. Um, but yeah, once again, hopefully they can at least do somewhat justice. But comparing it to the original, I don't think it'll be that good. But I know they'll make their money out of it. That's a guarantee.
So that's perfect. That leads us right into our next one of, what did we think of the trailer so far? Because you're saying, oh, let's see if we can get Matthew Lillard back in this, but he wasn't in the trailers. So
Mm-hmm.
are they saving that as a surprise? And then I kind of question it though. I'm like, well, if they put him in the trailers, would that have sold more tickets? Would that have got people even more hyped up? Or do they think just kind of like the word of mouth will spread about it, kind of what they did with No Way Home, right? They didn't
Right.
show us everything in the trailers. They kind of let it, spread a little bit after people seeing the movie. And to me, the trailers we saw, I didn't think they were anything special. Like literally, it felt like very much kind of rehashing the
Yeah.
same beats of the other Scream movies. I didn't see anything really new and different besides kind of the technology aspect, right? Of the beginning, how they like lock the doors with the phone, like the cell phone and everything. I thought that was kind of a little different, a little interesting. So, okay, bringing more technology in it, I got it, right? So we can connect to the new generation. But other than that, I wasn't like, oh wow, I'm so shocked. Or like, oh, this is so fresh and so new. How were you feeling, Alejandro, when you saw those trailers? Were you thinking kind of the same thing?
Yeah, you made a good point about having it relate to like modern day. And I feel like that kind of takes away just because comparing it to the new Child's Play reboot, how they made the doll into a IA. I mean that's a pretty cool idea, but just I don't know, there's like a different feel from like how life was back then to how life is now. Like we're surrounded by technology, so it's like how are we gonna incorporated into like all these movies now, and I feel like it's just kind of damaging the movie, not damaging, but like it's kind of just taken away from the movie. um we're around technology, so how is technology going to be that faulty, and how are the characters in the movie going to be, I don't want to say naive, but like, I don't know, I feel like it's just dumbing down the characters a bit with this all this technology that's being involved now. But hopefully it pays off.
Yeah, that is kind of a problem with the horror movies today. And we kind of saw that in the Halloween movie, right? Where they have to throw the cell phone in the jello or pudding or whatever it was, right? Like if you
Mhm.
have a cell phone, can you just call for help right away? So
Right.
that does present a problem. But I think if any movie could handle it, it's going to be Scream. Because I think Scream can play off that. Because, Scream's all about the meta humor. So maybe they'll
Yeah.
kind of make a joke out of it, right? In some way. So I think it could have some fun moments in this new Scream movie. And so leading into our next question, where do we think the quality is going to be on this film? Do we think it's really going to be a quality movie? A lot of horror movies struggle with being considered, a high critically appraised movie and a movie that stands the test of time, right? Horror movies, they don't get a lot of respect often, right, by the critics. Even though I'm a big horror fan, I know you're a big horror fan. Um, so when we think quality, what I'm really hoping for this to be a quality horror movie is a movie that's really entertaining. It's fun. It's not boring. And it does something interesting and it has a good twist at the end. I think if it does that, I will consider it a quality film, right? It's not going to be a Shakespeare film, right? I don't think they're going for any best actor performances here. But if you can make it a fun, entertaining ride, I think that's the most important thing for a horror movie like this. What do you think, Alejandro? What are you
Um,
going for in terms of quality with this movie?
for I would say hopefully they don't like add too much filler, just like they go like all over the place, like, oh, this character is going through this and this character is going through that, because that does take away, in my opinion, from the film. Like, I just want a solid story, be able to just keep my attention the whole way through, and then hopefully that ending pays off.
All killer, no filler, right? Yes, definitely. I'm really hoping for that. And so, our next question here, do we think there's going to be any big surprises in this movie? I know you were mentioning Matthew Lillard. If Matthew Lillard shows up in this movie, I will be surprised. I don't think I'll be shocked because I know we're hoping that happens,
Yeah.
but that to me could be one of the bigger surprises. Or if they brought back another Ghostface killer from the past, I wonder if they'll like combo it, have two
Mhm.
Ghostface killers, one be Matthew Lillard, one maybe be from another Scream sequel, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what's going to be the big surprise here, because I think we're all assuming they might have it where they do two killers again, right? Going back to the original. So I don't think that would be a big surprise. And I feel like this movie is going to have some shock value, but I really don't know what's the shock value going to be. Like, is there going to be three Ghostface killers this time? Like, or like we were mentioning, right? Is it going to be more technology? Is one going to be like a machine, like a robot that's like remote
Right.
controlled, right? So what's going to be shocking in this movie? And I hear critics talking about, oh yeah, there's some surprises in here, but I just can't nail it down of what the surprise is going to be. What do you think, Alejandro? Do you have an idea of what the surprises might be here, or where they could go with it?
Just from what I've been thinking, or like more, not more so, more so hoping, it's it will be, they will have Matthew Lillard, and it'll be like, well, yeah, I didn't die, and I've been plotting this whole time just to get back at you after so many years. But I haven't done any reading into it. So I know there was a Scream series, TV series. I'm not sure if they're gonna maybe mix that in there, or like maybe have some past characters from that series like be involved with this. But from what you're saying about the critics talking about there is shock value, it's kind of making me more excited. I can't wait to watch it. But I hope it's not like a jumping the shark type of situation where it's like, oh yeah, we have three killers or four killers, or we have this whole group of people that have been like involved in it. And I don't know. It just from what I've been seeing, like from recent horror movies, sometimes like especially the reboots, they just can't live up to the hype just because the originals are like so much more above. But I don't know.
And
Things
that's a great point. That's a great point you bring up. Like, jumping the shark, overdoing it, right? What if it's a cult now? They go Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. It's a cult. That's why there's so many ghost face killers in this town. There's a cult here, right? There's something mystical about it. So hopefully it's not too over the top, but there's still some surprise there. And I'm just excited to see what it's going to be, because I'm not too sure yet what's going to happen. But yeah, like you said, fingers crossed. I'm hoping it is a good, satisfying surprise ending. And this leading to our next question here, since we're getting hyped for Scream, we're horror fans. What have been some recent horror movies you have enjoyed? I know I'm a big Halloween fan, so I've been pretty happy with the past couple Halloween movies. I think they're on a good track with this new Halloween trilogy. Actually, Halloween Kills was on one of my favorites of last year, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not a perfect movie. There's some ridiculous things in it, but I think it was very entertaining. And I wasn't bored with it. I was super entertained the whole time. So I think if we can kind of be with that, I'll be happy with. But I'm trying to think if there's any other great horror movies. I really like Malignant. I thought Malignant was super cheesy, totally 80s feel, ridiculous, but I enjoyed it. James Wan can do no wrong. But I'm trying to think, has there been any other good horror movies or slasher movies in the last like 5 years? I'm really
just thinking right now. It's not that I can think of. I like how you brought up Halloween Kills. I enjoyed it as well, but at one point I did get mad just because at the end they just he's superhuman. He's able to come back and kill like the same group of people that were putting him down. But
hey, maybe he's the Ghostface killer now.
I was I wasn't bored watching the movie though. Like I loved it just up until the ending. I was a little bit disappointed just because how they're just making Michael into like this Super Saiyan type guy. You can't put him down. He's like the ultimate. But I don't know. It's just um I know you're a movie guy, so it's the only other horror thing that I would say that kind of surprised me and that like I actually like really enjoyed throughout was the new Child Play series. They actually brought a lot of old characters back and they made a lot of stuff canon. Like there was a scene where Charles mentions how he has a son, and that's from not the best movie from the series, which is Seed of Chucky. And I actually enjoyed Seed of Chucky, but I'm just hoping they can with this new Scream movie coming out. I'm just hoping they'll balance it. So it's like not too much new, not too much like previous characters coming back. Just the lore around it. I don't want them to ruin it.
Yeah, not make the Ghostface killer superhuman, right?
Yeah,
Keep it still with some believability, right? But take it up a notch maybe in some way. But yeah, that was one of the drawbacks I did have with Halloween Kills, like you mentioned, too super powered at the end.
yeah,
So hopefully they don't do that with the Ghostface killer. If it is Matthew Lillard, hopefully they explain it at the end, right? Like how did he survive? What was he doing the whole time? Like if they can make a good connection with it, I think that will work well. Just have a good explanation of it. That's what I like about the Saw movies. A lot of the early Saw movies, they had that big twist at the end, but I thought they had good explanation of it. Like, okay, this is how it all happened, right? And all connected, so it made sense. So I'm hoping they do that with this one too. And so after this movie, right? After Scream 5, do we think the Scream franchise is gonna continue? Or is there a lot riding on this movie? Is it really going to depend on how successful is this movie or not, right? If it's not successful, do you think they're going to keep making more Scream movies? because I was really surprised. Because I don't think a lot of people like Scream 4. I don't think it did amazing at the box office. I think it did all right, but I really wasn't expecting a Scream 5. So do you think it's make or break it for this franchise to have a really good solid entry? Or do you think no matter what, they're just going to keep pumping out Scream movies? What do you think, Alejandro?
I think it's 50-50. I feel like if they can see at least somewhat of a return from whatever they put into the movie, they're just gonna keep coming back to it and making money, because obviously it's still making money. Um, which is not always a good thing. So like we can have like a Scream 7 and it'd be completely like you mentioned about the cult, they might be like they might go in that direction. Or I like just thinking about it now, it's kind of making me a bit nervous. Just like it does come down to, as long as they can see like a return from their investment, they're just gonna keep pumping them out. Like how many Friday the 13th have we been on now?
I know I got the whole box set. I think what are we at? Are we at like 13 or something? I don't know.
Exactly.
I know we're above 11. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's a good movie. If it's a good movie and it does well, I think that's what we're hoping for, right?
And even if it does bad, like they'll I can guarantee you they'll just give it a few years till like they forget about it. Like just like they did with Scream 4. It's already been how many years? Like maybe I think about 4 to 5. Don't quote me on it. I'm not too sure, but they waited a while and now they're making a new one. So that I feel like that's gonna be this situation. I feel like there's a similar thing going on with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre series or franchise. I mean, um, I believe they're still currently working on a new one. If I'm not sure if you've heard anything on
Yes,
that.
yeah, I heard that they're working on that one. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main thing. They're trying to revitalize all these recognizable IPs they have. And just like, kind of with the comic book genre, I think horror is that next genre that has that really big fan base where like we're like, we'll give it another chance, right? We want it to
Yeah,
be good. We'll give it another chance. So yeah, I think Scream is so popular now, or at least it's recognizable. It's recognizable enough that I think even if they mess up on this one, it's not as good as we're hoping. They'll probably still try it again after a few years. Like you're saying, right? People are gonna forget about it, but
yeah.
they still got the Scream name. So that leads us to our final topic, our most important question here. How do we think it's gonna do at the box office? What do we think the critic response is going to be? What do we think the audience response is going to be? Now, my guess here, and I've seen some critic responses already, and last time I checked today, it was like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which to me, that was shocking. For
Yeah.
a horror movie to get that high on Rotten Tomatoes, that's amazing. And I even saw some of the responses. People are really liking this movie. They're saying it's a solid movie. There's a good surprised at that. I mean, they're just saying it's a bloody good time, and I like to hear those things. So that gets my excitement level, going up a little bit. So I think the critic response is good. And usually, if the critic response is good, I think the audience is usually a little bit more gentle on the movies, right? Especially for big fans going into it. So I think the audience response is probably going to be kind of in line with the critic response or even a little bit better. But that box office, right? We know all the situation that's happening right now. We got the other
Mhm.
COVID variant going around. A lot of people aren't going out to the theaters anymore. Yeah, we had a lot of people go out to Spider-Man No Way Home, but I'm wondering if that was the exception because there's been a bunch of movies that come out over the past few weeks and they're not doing well. They are
Mhm.
not doing good at all. So, is this movie going to be on the level of Spider-Man? I highly doubt it. So, I'm thinking box office wise, if I had to guess, maybe like 30 million opening weekend. I don't think it's going to be higher than that. I don't think it's going to have like that first Halloween did a few years ago where it was like right the best movie in October. It was like 70 million, something like that.
Mhm.
And this is a weird time too. It's January. So it's not really like a big month like, hey, this is the month for movies. Usually January is that month where it's kind of, hey, not so great movies are being released.
Yeah.
Everybody's back in school, right? Everybody's, back from the holidays. And so I'm worried about it box office wise. I'm definitely worried about it. I'm thinking around that 30 million spot. But if it's good, and that's the key, if it's good, it could have some legs and kind of, last a few weeks in, because I really don't think there's going to be too much competition in this month at all. So if it's a good movie, I think you'll get the word of mouth going. It'll kind of spread. More people will start coming out to it. And I think overall, globally, over a few weeks, it can do decent. I still don't think it's going to do good or great, but I think it can make some money overall in the long run if it's a good movie. That's the key. What do you think, Alejandro?
Yeah, that was a pretty good estimate. I was gonna say 20 just because I'm a little nervous on how it's gonna be just because like you said, you mentioned like theaters right now are ghost towns. So it's are people gonna be that willing to go and be around other big groups of people? Like I know there's like this new variant coming around and that's just at least it's not being dropped on any streaming sites right now or streaming services like HBO Max because like that recent Matrix movie that just came out that dropped straight to HBO Max and I'm not sure did it come out in theaters as well? I think it did.
I did go see it in theaters, and I was like the only one in the theater. I think it was me and one other person. That was it.
Oh man. So yeah, just I know they'll at least do decently, like you said, within like the next like weeks after it releases, just because word of mouth, if it's really that good, like the critics are saying it is, pretty sure it does have a chance to make decent money. Um we could just only wait and see. Honestly, it's a hard thing to guess right now. Globally, I believe not it won't boost their numbers too high, but they will get like maybe a little bit of a bump, like probably up to like 50 to 60 million, But hopefully, the story's that solid and people are just gonna be willing to watch it.
Yeah, that's what it will come down to. Totally, is it a good story? And then hopefully it is. Fingers crossed. So that's all our topics for today, everybody. I'm so glad you were able to join us. Thank you so much, Alejandro, for being my co-host today and just kind of, trying to get this excitement level going for this movie, getting the hype up for everybody with this pre-game show. Any last thing you want to say to the audience at all?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for inviting me and having me on. This is like my first time doing this, so I want to apologize to everybody if I sound a bit nervous or if I sounded a bit tongue tied or twisted with my words. But I just want to say thank you again, and I appreciate being a part of this. And I'm excited for this movie. No matter how it goes, I'm just looking forward to a new Scream movie coming out. Scream is one of my favorite franchises, so hopefully they don't jump the shark with Ghostface and they don't like make him too weak either. But hopefully.
And I'm excited for the exact same thing. I'm just happy we got another horror movie. It's a recognizable IP. But I feel like no matter what, I'm going to at least have a fun time with it. So everybody out there, go ahead and leave in the comments down below. Are you excited for Scream? Are you now pumped up for it? Are you hyped for this movie? Or are you kind of a little bit more cautious about it? Let me know in the comments below. Let's have those fun movie discussions down there. Also, if you're discovering the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe right now. We're going to get you tons of movie content in the future. We'll get you more movie pregame shows, movie news, movie rankings, movie hauls, everything. We cover movies on this channel, and I post often. So make sure you subscribe right now so you don't miss out on any of that movie value. Also, like the video. And this is Mega Mike, the Movie Man, reminding you to make every day a movie day.